Once, an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain. It went into a tunnel and squeaked through
it. It was a very dismal day. There was no rain, but the dark clouds loomed ahead, and the wind blew fiercely. All passenger trains stopped at Devil's Back Station, but supplies trains continued on. Shane Dooney collected the guard's van and some trucks to take up to the summit. The trucks were a new addition to the railway, as Jane could not take large loads. The trucks were very troublesome, and the engines found them difficult. "Come on," barked Shane. "Get a move on!"
"No, no!"
screamed the trucks.
We won't!
But they were no match for Shane's strength. Shane picked up several goods along the line and met Niles and Jane at the middle station. "Careful, mate," said Niles. "The wind's pretty bad up here." "Too bad for me," grunted Jane. Shane chuckled. "I've been on this railway for quite a while, and I've experienced the worst kind of bad weather." And with a bump, he forced the trucks up the steep slope. Niles was right about the wind. It wanted to blow Shane right off the mountain, but he wouldn't have it. With all his strength, he slowly made his way up the ridge. "Goodness!" he cried. "Mother Nature isn't very happy today." At last, he reached the summit. Trash cans and umbrellas were blowing everywhere. The workmen unloaded the trucks, and the driver and fireman went to talk to the station manager. However, they forgot to apply Shane's brakes. Shane waited in the howling wind, eager to go home. Suddenly, a massive gust hit, and Shane found himself moving. Driver," he called, little help." The trucks were delighted and gave a big bump, which sent Shane down the slope. "Help!" he cried. The driver and fireman raced towards him, but couldn't catch up. Shane approached a curve in the track and tried to apply his automatic brakes, but it was too late. He derailed and shut his eyes. He ran off the rails and continued on until he went over the edge. He hit something hard, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself dangling on a ledge. The trucks rolled down the mountain, smashing into pieces. It served them right. Shane had never been more terrified in his whole life. "Help!" he shouted. The wind blasted him, trying to push him over the edge. The driver and fireman were horrified. "Get the breakdown train, now!" The message was sent down to Kirk Matchin, and Niles immediately set off with the crane. However, Niles wasn't particularly fast, and the wind made him a lot slower. But he tried as hard as he could. "Come on, Jane! Shane's depending on us!" Shane was so scared that he wouldn't dare look down. Some bad memories came back to him. Godred's accident back in 1900 flashed before his eyes. The driver and fireman were yelling something, but the wind was so loud that Shane couldn't make out what they were saying. At last, Niles raced in with the crane, as fast as he could, which wasn't very fast at all. The workmen scrambled out, and some had to climb down with ropes to get where Shane was perched. "Are you sure this is going to work?" said Niles. "I don't think the rope's strong enough." "It's our only chance," replied a workman, as he watched the others attach the chain to Shane Dooney. "If this doesn't work," said Shane to the workman, "tell Mr. Boraine how honored I was to work for him." "Rubbish," said the workman. "You'll get out of this, we promise." But Shane wasn't too sure. The chain was securely fastened, and the workmen all signaled to the top. "All right," said the workman up above. "Pull!" The crane began to wind furiously. It pulled Shane up onto the cliff, straining as he slowly inched towards the top. Shane was shuddering and sweating as the wind howled across his boiler. Niles was sweating too. The men were all watching anxiously. Slowly, the top of the hill came closer and closer. To Shane, it seemed like ages. But suddenly, he realized he was at the top. His wheels slowly but firmly set onto the rails. Everyone cheered, and Shane Dooney had never felt so relieved in his entire life. "Well done, Niles!" cried Shane's driver. "And well done, Shane, you brave engine!" "Well, I had just gotten a washdown," chuckled Shane, "so rolling down the mountain would never do." Everyone laughed. "Still managed to find humor in a moment like this," chuckled Niles. That night, the engines were very pleased to see their friend safe. "As a reward for your bravery, I think it's only fair that you get to take out the next tea train," said Mr. Buraine. "Thank you, sir, but may I ask what's happening to the trucks?" Mr. Buraine laughed. "They are going straight to the rubbish bin. The workmen will go pick up their remains tomorrow." But that's another story.